If you've read Fyodor Dostoevsky's groundbreaking novel Crime and Punishment, then you probably remember Raskolnikov. He spent his life taking other people's words and actions personally, and because of that, he suffered a lot and eventually drove himself into a personal crisis. The novel shows us, through his self-doubt, confusion, and mental struggle, one clear message. Whatever happens around you, no matter who tries to get under your skin, you can't let them control your mind. A similar pattern shows up in J.D. Salinger's classic The Catcher in the Rye. The story, widely regarded as one of the greatest novels of the 20th century, follows 16-year-old Holden Caulfield, who can't trust the world around him. Like Raskolnikov, he takes everything way too personally. Over time, this leads him into depression, loneliness, frustration, and mental health struggles, and he ends up isolating himself from society. Now, I'm not saying we all live in the same extreme emotional turmoil as Raskolnikov or Holden, but if you pay attention, you'll notice that many of us, especially on social media, give too much weight to toxic comments, let negativity get to us, and shrink under baseless criticism. But does it really have to be that way? Can't we control our own minds? Before diving deeper, here's a true story. We all know Spotify. Its founder, Daniel, had just sold a startup and become a millionaire. Thinking about his next move, he decided to create an online music platform where anyone could listen to music from around the world for free. He put together an amazing team: investors, legal advisors, app developers, and they got to work. But soon, a challenge came up. At a party, Per Sundin, CEO of Sony Music Sweden, called Daniel a thief, saying that his app would ruin musicians financially. Daniel could have gotten angry, he could have argued, he could have taken it personally, but he didn't. He stayed calm, focused on his plan, and kept moving forward. Years later, the very same Per Sundin became Daniel's business partner. The point is, it's one thing to say don't take things personally, and another to actually live it. At work, you could do an incredible job, but get publicly criticized for a minor mistake. Or you might need empathy from someone you care about, but they're too busy to offer it. Or maybe you helped someone wholeheartedly, but when you need help, they turn away. Naturally, you'll feel hurt. You'll take it personally. That's normal. But what if you didn't? What if you shifted your perspective, tried to understand the other side, and approached situations logically rather than emotionally? Wouldn't life feel lighter? Wouldn't you feel more at peace? Why do we take things personally? It's complicated. Philosophers, psychologists, and thinkers from around the world have studied this for centuries. One major concept comes from cognitive behavioral psychology. How we interpret an event directly affects how we feel and how we act afterward. Here's an example. Imagine it's a weekend morning and you're in a good mood heading to the market. Someone randomly approaches you and says something rude. You're shocked. You can react in two ways. Insult them back. Ignore them, assuming they're just off or unstable. How you interpret the situation determines your next move. That's the essence of cognitive behavioral theory. Often, we take things personally because our ego tells us we're the center of everything. When someone insults or ignores us, ego triggers a fight response. Albert Ellis, founder of Rational Emotive Behavior Therapy, or REBT, wrote that connecting everything to yourself and jumping to emotional conclusions is a sign of potential mental distress. Carl Jung's concept of the shadow self also relates. Our fears, insecurities, and suppressed emotions influence how we respond to the world. People who grew up insecure or oppressed are naturally more likely to take things personally. John Bowlby's attachment theory backs this up, explaining that early life experiences shape our emotional responses later on. But not all situations are the same. For instance, if you work hard on a project, but someone else takes credit, it's natural to feel hurt. Or if your partner ignores your feelings, it stings. Ego plays a role here too. It hates criticism and craves acknowledgement. When expectations aren't met, ego takes over, and suddenly you're fighting everyone emotionally, draining yourself in the process. Now, imagine if, in most of these situations, you didn't take things personally. Relationships would improve. You'd stay in control of your focus. Your inner peace would remain intact. So how do you practice this? Philosophers and psychologists give us several paths. Albert Camus' Absurdism. The world is confusing and chaotic. Trying to make sense of everything is pointless. Move forward without personalizing events. Baruch Spinoza. Understanding the world rationally gives emotional freedom. Know your worth, understand others' limitations, and maintain balance. Nietzsche, Amor fati, accept what life brings and move forward. His will to power suggests a strong sense of self makes others' opinions less impactful. Buddhism, anatta. Suffering comes from ego-driven actions. If we stop thinking we're the center of everything, emotional freedom follows. Stoicism. Epictetus and Marcus Aurelius emphasize that we cannot control external events, only our reactions. Practical ways to strengthen this habit include practice mindfulness. Your brain generates approximately 50,000 thoughts a day, 80% of them negative. Train your mind to focus consciously. Strengthen core values. Trust your own judgment rather than depending on validation from others. Cognitive reframing. Ask yourself, is this really about me, or is there another explanation? Develop emotional agility. Observe your emotions rather than reacting immediately. Keep a personal journal. Writing helps analyze events logically and reduces emotional overload. Communicate clearly with those who hurt you. Address misunderstandings directly. Build personal boundaries. Decide what feedback you accept and what is toxic. Self-determination is key. When you are mentally strong, independent, and self-sufficient, you won't take things personally, and your emotional balance improves. Even highly successful people face criticism. Michael Phelps was publicly mocked. Stephen King's first book was rejected 30 times. And J.K. Rowling faced repeated refusals. They didn't take it personally. They stayed focused on their craft. And look at the results. Finally, Eleanor Roosevelt said it best, "No one can make you feel inferior without your consent. You decide whether to let someone else's words control you." Learning not to take things personally isn't a one-time mission. It's a lifelong journey. You'll face tests along the way, but if you learn to stay calm, practice perspective, and respond thoughtfully rather than emotionally, your life will become calmer, clearer, and more peaceful.